So welcome to Trimming Musical Fat, the podcast where we trim albums that are too damn long. I'm Stephen Nicholson, and thank you for joining me and my guests Bryan Borthwick, Paul Young and Jamie Kerr as we pick the songs that will make up side B of our Oasis compilation, The Disasterplan, an album that showcases the band's worst tune from their 21st century output. So in last week's show, we picked the songs that made up side A, and those tracks are Ain't Got Nothing, The Nature of Reality, High Horse Lady, Probably All in the Mind, A Bell Will Ring, and Born on a Different Cloud.
Remember when you first heard Oasis? Well, the magic has returned. A brand new Oasis album. Dig out your soul. My word, it's been a long, lonely time. The mundanity, the banality, well, it's over because they're back. Oasis, dig out your soul. What else have we got to live for?
So it's time to start picking the songs for side B, and the first song that gets on is a track from Heath and Chemistry, and it's one that Jamie and Bryan picked, and it's called Guess God Thinks I'm Abel.
Let's get along, there's nothing to do. Let's go find a rainbow. I could be wrong, but what am I to do? Guess God thinks I'm
Guess God Thinks I'm Able was written by Liam, and Liam in the June 2005 issue of Mojo about writing the song said, "It's biblical, innit? Cain and Abel, it's me and our kid, or me and you, two people who are the opposite, who become one. I love him."
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it biblical. It's it's all right. It's another one of these songs that when you're going through the album, just one that you're sort of like, I don't know if I like that as much. It's listenable, but yeah, it's a bit of a filler song, I think. Not brilliant. Definitely not biblical.
Yeah, not biblical for you either, Jamie.
Nah, not biblical for me. It starts off fine with the guitar, but the minute the key changes, it just doesn't go anywhere at all. But it just goes flat and then repeats. And yeah, I think that the song's kind of done when the first wee bit does kind of pick up a wee bit towards the end, but then just has that really bizarre outro, which I don't know. Maybe that's what Liam thought was biblical about it, but nah, not for me.
Okay, well, that's kicking off side B. Guess God Thinks I'm Able. The second track is a cover version, and it is Helter Skelter. So that was Helter Skelter, which was a B-side to Who Feels Love, and obviously it's a cover version of the Beatles' classic from the White Album, and it was Paul and I who put it on the Disasterplan.
I guess cover songs, if they're better than the original, or they offer something a little bit different, then they tend to work okay. I don't think this one does. I don't know whether it's the lyric or just the recording itself. It felt a bit like a live recording, which usually works for Oasis. Been interesting being Liam singing it rather than no. I think that might have added something different to it. But I remember listening to it when I bought the single, and when you saw the title of the song, like, oh, that could be good. And it didn't live up to expectation for me, so that's why it was on.
Totally with you, because I remember them saying they'd done a version of Helter Skelter, and I thought, oh, when will they ever put that out? Because I Am the Walrus is so good. And I thought, oh, it'll be in a very similar manner to that. You full on Liam singing, and when that has the potential to be absolutely tremendous. And then it came out, and it was so disappointing. Just really kind of a tepid, tame version of the song. And yeah, it might have, well, I'm sure it would have made a huge difference Liam singing it rather than no. But yeah, what a wasted opportunity, especially when how good they've done, for example, My Generation and I Am the Walrus. It's just a real missed opportunity. Okay, that's track 2 on side B. The third track is one that probably anyone listening to this would fully expect to be on the Disasterplan. And it is Little James.
Little James, we're all the same. Always seem to look to us. We were meant to be grown-ups. Thank you for your smile. You make it all worthwhile to us. Live for your toys, even though they make noise.
So, Little James was from Standing on the Shoulder of Giants, track 4 in that album there, and Liam wrote it for his then wife, Patsy Kensett's son, James. Paul and Bryan, you selected this to go on the Disasterplans.
I didn't actually mind this when it first came out on the album. I remember a lot of people slagged it, including your brother. But I didn't mind it actually. But listening to it now, it sort of annoys me. This song, I don't like it at all. I just don't know what it is. It just reminds me like a school kid playing on a piano and making a song or something. It's just, yeah, nah. I just don't like it anymore.
Live for your toys, even though they make noise.
Exactly.
Are you trying to say the lyrical content is not top drawer?
Not biblical, anyway.
It's not biblical, yeah. Paul, did you dislike it from first hearing it, or is it just irritated you as the years have gone by?
Pretty much the first listen. Thought that was a terrible song. I've not actually, do you know what? I think I've probably listened to it a couple of times, 3 times. It was just always, skip to the next song on that album. I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, that was the first one that Liam kind of wrote, and it ended up on like an album and stuff. And I remember thinking, just you leave the songwriting to your brother. Don't be doing it anymore. He's obviously improved a lot in that field for sure, but it's like you say, it was just the kind of very sort of amateurish lyrics and stuff, just almost deliberately try to make words rhyme and stuff. It is almost like something that you'd probably do at school or something, come home and try and impress your mum and dad. But I think this is, out of all the rubbish songs that we've maybe talked about tonight, this is for me is the worst, and always will be.
Okay, so you're saying, Paul, it's not one of your favourites?
No.
Okay. Jamie, are you going to come to Little James's defence? Poor James.
Nah, probably not, to be honest. It does have this sort of reputation of being a really, really, really bad song. I think the fact that when Liam wrote it, or when it was released, and it was kind of the first one, as you say, that Liam wrote, and it was about a child, it just all seemed a bit odd, like Liam writing a song, Oasis writing a song about someone's son, and then it comes off the back of, I think, Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is, which is a pretty good tune, and then going from that straight into Little James, which is, 6.5 minutes long, just nonsense.
Which brings us to track 4, side B, and we're back to Dig Out Your Soul again, and it's Soldier On. Okay, so that was Soldier On from Dig Out Your Soul, and that was selected by Paul and Bryan. And this is one of 3 songs that Liam wrote for that particular album. And Noel Gallagher said it would have been easier and more obvious to put an uplifting song on at the end of the album. When I hear Soldier On, I imagine a guy with a big effing rope and a lump of concrete on his back, as if someone had told him, right, there's your baggage. Take it for your life. That's why it was last in the album. I really, really love that song. And yet, here we are. Paul and Bryan are saying it's crap. So, Bryan, is it crap?
Well, it's talking of that. That song does sort of feel like you're walking along, dragging a big concrete block behind you. It's sort of going nowhere. But it's a bit monotonous. Yeah, I think by that point,
Yeah.
it was a bit of a struggle, I think, for them getting decent songs at that point. It's Not for me, that one.
And not for Paul either.
No, I mean, this is that kind of grouping of album fillers in the sort of second half of that album. It's probably a good shout as well. It's probably indicative of where they were at that time as a band, and I'm sure the relationships and stuff were a bit frayed. And obviously they were all experimenting with songwriting and stuff, but as far as the song's concerned, it's just pretty average, you know, and it's like a bit monotonous and slow paced and all the rest of it. And it's maybe a strange way to end an album as well. So yeah, that was a pretty easy pick for me for this side of the album for sure.
Which brings us to the final track on the Disasterplan. And I'm going to do a bit of a quiz with you guys. Which album do you think this track is from? You're probably thinking, Dig Out Your Soul, and you'd be right. And it's To Be Where There's Life, which was picked by both myself and Jamie, and let's hear it first. Okay, so that was To Be Where There's Life from Dig Out Your Soul, written by Gem Archer, and the album title actually comes from a lyric that's contained within the song, and this was played live for the first time on August 26, 2008 at the WAMU Theatre over in Seattle. So, Jamie, it made the Disasterplan for you. Why is it a disaster?
Primarily due to the vocals. I think as a tune, I think the riff's okay, got a little bit of attitude, but I know I don't like the vocals on it. To me, it sounds really forced, especially in the chorus. And I think the fact that the band were as good as done by this point kind of comes through in the performance. Yeah, I just think, you know, I mentioned and we were talking about Soldier On as well. It feels like they had reached a point where they were just putting anything out for the sake of it almost. I don't know. Maybe to conclude their 8-album deal or whatever it was that they had, but too forced.
I hadn't listened to this in years until we knew this was coming up. It's just a big psychedelic 5-minute blancmange of nothingness. It's pointless. It's so utterly unmemorable that I had to check it was actually on the original release of Dig Out Your Soul. I'm like, was that even on it? Maybe for my sanity, I had mentally blocked it from my memory. I don't know. I just didn't even remember listening to this back in the day when I listened to this album back in 2008. So yeah, very, very justified being on here. Okay, so that's 5 songs picked for side 2, which runs to 23 minutes. And in total, we've got 11 tracks, and the supercut comes in at 46 minutes. So it's now time to reveal the 18 songs that were nominated with 1 vote each and did not get included on the Disasterplan. So I've kind of broken this down by album. So from Standing on the Shoulder of Giants, we had I Can See a Liar, some top lyrics in that one. Roll It Over, Sunday Morning Call. I think Bryan and Jamie will be fighting each other over that one. I know Jamie's a big fan of it and Bryan is not. And also Where Did It All Go Wrong from that album. From Heath and Chemistry, we had A Quick Peep, Little by Little, and Force of Nature. From Don't Believe the Truth, we had Lila, The Importance of Being Idle. Can't believe that. And Keep the Dream Alive. And from Dig Out Your Soul, well, I think we had almost every track from Dig Out Your Soul already included, to be fair. But there was one other nomination, and that was Bag It Up. And from the B-sides, the nominations were Falling Down, the Prodigy version. I think, was that you that picked that, Jamie?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, what did you not like about that? I was curious to find out.
Just unnecessary, the whole thing. Pointless. Just no need. I'm not against the Prodigy, and I don't know, was that, because that Falling Down, that single, was that 3, like the single and then 2 remixes of the same song, and the Prodigy one for me is just, yeah.
Okay, right, I just wanted to check that one. Yeah, so we got that, Just Getting Older, Let's All Make Believe, One Way Road, Pass Me Down the Wine, Sitting Here in Silence, and those Swollen Hand Blues, which you'll find actually quite a number of them on the Master Plan 2 episodes, which we put out a few weeks ago. So yeah, any of those songs in particular you're thinking, I really wish that had got on the Disasterplan? or do you think we've done a good job here in picking the worst the band's got to offer from their final 10 years or so?
I think we've done a not bad job. There was probably some tunes that were listed there that, yeah, we could have, if we'd maybe made it a longer album, Stephen, I think there's definitely a few candidates that could have slipped in there, but no, I think we've done well. Put halfway, dig out your soul.
Well,
and then have other stuff, so yeah.
The thing is with the dig out your soul stuff, it's almost exclusively the second half of it. The first half, actually, I think it's got some good stuff on it. Yeah, it's just purely the second half that really kind of it falls off a cliff for me.
Oasis, standing on the shoulder of giants. I'll tell you what, that's not bad, that.
Anyway, let's reveal the 11 tracks that make up the Disasterplan. So, Ain't Got Nothing, The Nature of Reality, High Horse Lady, Probably All in the Mind, A Bell Will Ring, Born on a Different Cloud, Yes, God Thinks I'm Abel, Helter Skelter, Little James, Soldier On, and To Be Where There Is Life. So, for the Masterplan 2, we rated the album out of 5. We're going to do the same for the Disasterplan. So, Brian, I'll come to you first. What are you going to rate this out of 5?
Probably go a 1.5.
I'll give it a 2 because I still think that even the worst Oasis songs are probably still better than a lot of the music that was kicking around at the time that they were released. So for that reason, I'll give it a 2.
I'm with you, Jamie. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 as well. And last but not least, Paul.
Yeah, I think 2 seems fair to me as well. 1 or 2 songs in there that, yeah, you could maybe argue are okay.
So yeah, the bell has rung. Time to head home. Thanks to Brian, Jamie and Paul for joining me. Thanks to you for listening. So come back next week for another episode of Trimming the Musical Fat. So until then, keep trimming.
Trimming the Musical Fat podcast is a Stephen and Paul Nicholson production. We'd love to hear from you. You'll find our contact details in the episode description. Want more TTMF? Head to our socials. Join our Facebook group. Follow us on TikTok. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And check out our website at trimmingthemusicalfat.com.